All right, it's finally time. The age of hero pools is upon us. As previously announced, starting next week, March 7th and 8th, one tank, one support, and 2 DPS heroes will be unavailable for teams to select in the Overwatch League. Teams will only be allowed to use heroes from the available hero pool. How will that hero pool be determined? Pretty much, you're going to see it right here. Teams will only be allowed to use heroes from the available hero pool. And these heroes will be randomly selected from a group of eligible heroes based on play rate data from the previous 2 weeks of Overwatch League matches. So that's the heroes that will be taken out of rotation. Only heroes that are being played at a rate of 10% or more from those past 2 weekends of matches, so for in this case it's including today, can be rotated out from the next hero pool. No hero is going to be unavailable though for 2 weeks in a row, and hero pools will not be used for the mid-season tournament, the play-in tournament, the playoffs or the grand finals. So all heroes are available for those matches. You can see hero usage here. These are all heroes that have at least that minimum 10% usage to make them eligible to be taken out of rotation.
Winston, why?
There's a bit of a selection there.
Winston,
After today's game, Widowmaker's even snuck in there as well. So today for the first hero pool, we here at the Watchpoint desk will determine what heroes are out of rotation just for today. In the future, Blizzard will handle that internally and report that to you via the usual channels. My friends here will each take turns making blindfolded picks from this drum here. It's literally a lottery drum. So there's a few moving parts in this whole exercise, but what we're trying to do is to make sure that it's very clear that it is randomized as much as possible. So with that in mind, you can now see the heroes eligible to be taken out of rotation. So I can demonstrate to you here some of the setup. So how are we selecting the heroes from the eligible lot? We're using a highly sophisticated randomization drum, all right? We're using a raffle drum.
Very
essentially what I have in front of me. These are tickets. They're folded over, and I'll demonstrate them to you now. There are 8 slips per hero eligible getting thrown into the drum. So here I have the 3 tanks that are eligible, right? So there are a bunch of diva slips here. There are 8 diva slips in this hand. I'm going to show you these each individually, just so you're sure. In this hand, I have Winston slips as well. You can see them.
Can we remove those?
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
come on. It's 10.1, that's not over.
Maybe lose those. Come on, like,
all right?
it's like one map too much. It's not fair.
I'm explaining to everybody, and of course I've got 8 Reinhardt slips here as well. So they're all going to go in, and I'm going to put them in.
Is that all happy about that Houston win and now Winston?
Before you
the prize.
Peanut Gallery, enough out of you. Johnny, hold that for me so I can put these in, please.
Yep.
This is how it's
holding it.
So these are these are the Winston slips going in.
Yep.
The Reinhardt slips are also going in now.
Johnny,
get in there.
This is scary.
The diva slips, and we're going to mix it up properly, guys.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're going to take turns.
Can I just pick the one now?
Not yet, no.
Oh,
now you're going to put the blindfold on.
Here we go.
Oh,
this is how we do it.
A very official fighting mechanism.
I'm going to hold this down because I'm going to give it a real process.
I can't confirm. I can't see anything.
Now you can't tell me this isn't completely random.
Maybe give it a go the other way a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that.
Just
here we
go.
Completely random right now.
All right, so
little tumble dry.
here we go. You're blindfolded. Now we know what our eligible tanks are. It is Winston, Diva, and Reinhardt. They are all eligible to be chosen here.
We're only removing
Johnny,
one.
don't mess it
In
up.
goes the
Only
hand, Johnny.
one.
Johnny, here we go. Oh god,
Get a good look.
that looks like a Winston.
Now, we'll see. Don't say anything yet. All right. I get to the official announcement. And the first hero to be removed from the rotation in the 2020 season of the Overwatch League is...
No! Are you kidding me? No!
All right.
No!
All right, so can I get some thoughts from you guys on this while I clear the tank slips out of here?
We should have an analyst rotation where Johnny's removed.
Yeah, I'm good for that.
Removing Reinhardt.
I'm okay for that.
What do I do with my job? Do I call in sick next week?
All right, get out of the... Yes, okay. Why didn't you get like Diva or Winston? Either of those were fine.
We're all moving. We're all moving.
Hey guys,
We're all
any
moving.
chance
Go
of
that way.
discussing what this might mean?
Okay, so like
Orisa.
you see Ryan gone. Most likely we're gonna see Orisa coming back in, taking the place. We're going back to that sweet Orisa gameplay. Maybe we'll see some dive, Winston Diva. You can still run that.
Yeah,
it comes down to Lucio. It
True.
depends.
It may not all be Orisa. You'll have to tune in and find out.
Okay.
Ooh.
So now it's time, of course, to we're gonna show the full screen so you guys know what are eligible to actually be taken out of the pool. Just to remind you guys. So we've already had our tanks picked here. So Reinhardt, with 87.2% hero usage, will not be in the pool. So for supports, you can see Moira snuck in there at 10.8% today. Lucio at 88.7% and Ana at 85.4% are all eligible. So. This weekend and last weekend. So here is the stack of Lucio ones. There are 8 Lucio tickets in my hand. They're going to be thrown in. I can't wait for someone to say he didn't mix the drum up enough.
Yeah.
In this hand, we have the Ana tickets. There are 8 of these. They're also going to be thrown in here. And yes, we will mix them around. And finally, of course, as just snuck in today with a little bit of extra play from our teams, Moira is also eligible to be removed from rotation for a short time. So, Custer, put your blindfold on.
Let's go,
I'm going to really mix this up. There's some Guy Fieri action going on here.
Inventing esports.
Who do you guys want me to
thing.
pick? Who do you want?
Yeah. What do you got? Okay. Is there anything you're hoping that doesn't get removed? Anything you want to see next weekend, especially?
I don't want to see Lucio removed.
Okay.
Because that means we'll see a lot more Baptiste and Brig.
Yeah, and I think that
Jason
means
Bunker.
if you see Lucio gone, I think that means you'll also see Arisa more.
Custa, you have one job.
Custer,
I messed it up.
You
Please
can reach
stop.
in. Just hand me one of those. And we'll find out which one it is. I don't know why they get us to do this.
Alright.
If there's any chance
We're
of it
making
going wrong,
esports history.
It's us.
Yeah,
Okay.
How did I do?
Not bad.
Show me the money.
And this support will not be available next week. Moira.
I've done it, chat.
Alright.
Moira will
Alright.
not be available. She's out of the hero rotation.
Nice.
Thoughts? Thoughts on that?
That's
I don't.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think you still have the ability to play dive as long as Lucio is in the mix,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Ana, I think you're good. So
I mean, we'll pretty much just see more Lucio next week, I can imagine.
yeah.
Okay. So not a huge change in that regard. It's
We really
interesting.
saw
She
her just sneak in, right? She only just had 10%, so it's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
everyone was really making her a
She
Yeah,
got
I mean,
in
we might
today.
see
Yeah, yeah.
less dive and we might see more Orisa Diva compositions
Yep.
next week, given
Yeah.
the fact that we also banned out Reinhardt now.
Yeah.
So
All right, who am I picking from?
Finally, we're down to the
Please,
DPS, the DPS slots. Can
My
we show that
specialty.
the graphic again, and we can show you guys what DPS heroes are eligible to be removed from the active pool. There are 4, and I obviously have 8 of each of those 4 in my hand. I'll show you this. So we have May, McCree, Doomfist, and Widowmaker.
yeah.
2 of these could be removed.
Whoa.
Doomfist. I mean, he's played in a lot of like Sombra dive compositions, right? So that would be a huge impact. I think May being gone would be super impactful as well.
I think everyone wants to see that. I think everyone
cards.
doesn't want to see May. I think everyone's been excited with the Doomfist. Like, even McCree, I think would just sort of make people more versatile. I want to see the legs. When does Soldier start getting locked in?
He's
If
a
you
May
lock
card.
The
McCree,
legs.
come on, let's see some legs.
All right, so I got Doomfist and May in there already. Lock the legs. Well, yeah, does
wouldn't
that work without the Reinhardt?
We'd
Or
have
do you
to
think-
we'd have to ban like a 8 DPS to get the legs in.
Well, what would be interesting with
McCree. I'm being asked to show you multiple of these, just so you know. That's another McCree one as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you 3, just so you're sure. That's another McCree one. See
All the
that?
McCrees.
All right. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure.
It would be interesting to see if McCree was removed, if teams started playing more Widowmaker to sort of replace
Yeah,
that role.
sure.
Because theoretically, it's a similar hero, but it's just harder to play Widowmaker against like a Diva shutting you down, etc. So interesting to see if McCree gets removed, who replaces him in the
Still Widow.
Yeah, I think there's so many interesting ways, especially since we have 2 bans as well. Like, that's such a significant portion of what we've seen being played already. So it'd almost be interesting if we see McCree or Doomfist get out. Like, are we going to see massive changes? Like, will we see more Tracer
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff?
Well, it's going to be
Where's
really
the
interesting as
drum?
well with no Reinhardt to see what happens if May also gets removed.
Okay.
Because then we might actually start seeing.
So bear in mind, there is the chance of
Open
the
the
same
door.
DPS period being picked twice in a row. We're just going to roll again until we get a different one. All right, Matt, you can take your first one.
All right, Matt, come on.
Couldn't we have gotten a good DPS player to draw these?
They are
have
better than
any-
I don't
you.
think we
I
have
don't
any
think
on
so.
this desk, unfortunately.
All right, so our first pick for the DPS to be taken out of rotation, it's McCree.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
McCree usage, yep. Nice
1 in
Matt.
3.
We have a 1 in 3. Please
1 in
choose
3.
the
Get him
May.
spinning.
So what does this mean?
Yeah, I think as Johnny was saying, with the McCree out, I think you'll just see, if in this current setup, you'd see a lot more Widow. We might see right now like a lot of Orisa Widow Diva right now,
Yeah.
if I was guessing what the meta would look like.
All right. Matt having to reach
So we
in
might
here.
get McCree again.
If we get McCree again,
Then
we
we'll
need to
just pick
draw it again. I will show you what we get. And this one is Widowmaker is drawn.
Wow.
McCree and
Whoa,
Widowmaker.
that's crazy.
So we got Doom and May still in. You didn't get May. You had one job. You had a 50% chance, I think.
Do we just see a lot more dive now?
Yeah, maybe you see a lot of dive. You got Widow and...
So maybe.
I'm really bad at this raffle stuff. I
Right,
got
right,
USA
right.
against
You
South
are-
Korea
you-
in the World
yeah,
Cup.
I remember
I
that.
now unselected.
I think we just take you out next time.
Yeah, I shouldn't be involved in this.
Yeah.
That's
shouldn't be involved in the raffle.
Cut the cameras, yeah. All right, so
Get him outta here.
based upon the heroes that we just selected that are now not in the rotation for week 5, Tell me about like what you expect to see from compositions here. Can you theory craft at all? It's very much on the spot, unlike your plat chat. We get to sit around and have your ridiculous takes sort of.
Yeah, I mean, Orisa Diva, it could be a composition, or we could see something like Winston Diva, I feel like, and then it just depends on what you're the most comfortable with. Remember, you don't have a ton of practice with these heroes removed from the pool, right? So it comes down to what these teams have, their preferences.
Go back to like the Orisa, May, Hog, Hanzo type of, probably not.
I think what you're more likely to expect is people go to exactly what we just saw, the Sombra, Doomfist, Monkey, Diva, Lucio, Ana. That is all still in the pool. I think people have shown that it can be strong across the board. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of that next weekend.
Do you think there is a possibility we see some more perhaps double shield compositions, given that a lot of these teams have experience playing double shield compositions like Bastion, etc.? Like, is there a possibility we see more of that maybe?
I think with everyone, because everyone's has a week to prepare for this, right? This weekend, I think you're going to see a lot of people prepare against this Doomfist Sombra. So you might see a couple of people sort of set up these bunker comps with the double main tanks, with like Baptiste, all that kind of stuff. Like, we could definitely see some interesting counters, but I think you're going to see teams play to their strength. Everyone's not going to play the same thing, and that's what's exciting about these heroes.
So, more specifically, what do these heroes being unavailable mean sort of for the teams playing next week in terms of, you know, is there going to be a really strong team, do you think? Any teams that because we're going to see a lot of the same teams coming up. This is your schedule for next week. Any of these teams do you think are particularly affected by this?
I mean, if Houston weren't comfortable playing the McCree, here you go.
Yeah.
Right? This is your weekend to really perform, and you don't really have to stick with that May, so we'll have to see if they can just adapt and just keep playing their own style and see how that turns out for them. Meanwhile, I'm looking at teams that perhaps liked playing in this May McCree meta and see how that is now going to affect them if they had a good Reinhardt player. Perhaps like Paris Eternal. I don't know what their team is going to look like when Ben Best can't play that Reinhardt and they can't be behind his shield.
I would also say that first day, Toronto has already been playing a lot of the Sombra Doomfist style, going up against Florida. Florida just plays today. They probably travel, right? You may not get a great opportunity to really kind of get a run on that comp. So I think Toronto could have an edge there.
What about Philly? How does that affect them?
They'll be good.
They'll be fine.
Yeah,
I don't think you ever have to worry about Philly. Like, you don't worry about the ones we've seen, just like the same stuff. Like, as you said, Paris, Mayhem. Like, Mayhem, we've pretty much only seen the like Ryan McCree, May from them. So maybe we'll see Fate come out.
Yeah,
and play
keep in mind, like McCree and Widowmaker gone, frees up Yaki to play the Pharah, and he's a great Pharah.
That's true. We didn't actually think about that.
Pharah could be devastating with no McCree. The legs,
like Ilios and stuff. Great.
Are we going to see the legs?
Pharah legs? I'm just saying, Tracer Pharah. I would think you'd more likely see Tracer Pharah more than anything, but I think, someone go legs. Come on, I need to see some legs in this week.
All right, so we've sort of discussed what teams might be affected. We've kind of already talked over what teams might get better. I guess there's no real sort of teams that get.
Look, man, who knows?
Look,
who knows?
This system's only going to benefit the better teams even more.
Yeah.
The teams that are more skilled and the teams that are better at adapting are just going to get even better with this type. Where I think a lot of the other teams are going to have to use maybe subs and just kind of put something together that can just work on a weekly basis.
Yeah, it's also important to point out that these heroes cannot be taken out of rotation next week.
Yeah.
So it can only be 1 week at a time that they're not available, and it won't always be done in this particular fashion.
Does this mean the end of the legacy of Jerry?
Oh, is Jerry going to take a back seat?
You never know.
No, Jerry, not Jerry.
I told you. I'm 37.
It's right. It's all over.
No, I think Jerry will be fine. I think he played all right today against Philly, but I think it's just a tough matchup. I don't think you can judge him like as good as his first matchup or as bad as his matchup today.
Exactly. Right.
Well, one thing is for sure, ladies and gentlemen, week 5 is going to be an absolute crackerjack. It's going to be a lot of theory craft going into it, some unexpected results perhaps, and it's something to look forward to. But that's it for us and the Watchpoint post show. We've got Overwatch Contenders Australia kicking off tonight, by the way. 11 p.m. Pacific. If you're not cheering for Blame Freak, there's something wrong with you. Head over to youtube.com/Overwatch League, Overwatch Contenders. Watch and subscribe. The North America, Europe, and South American regions are kicking off their broadcasts next week, starting on March 9th. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.